There are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Wanderings. I am AJ, your host, as you all well know by now. I've kind of been here for a minute, and I am so happy to be here each and every week, like I share every single time I'm here, because it's true. I love soul wandering. It's one of my favorite things that I do. I'm very thankful to all of you who show up every week and support the show and support yourselves and each other through your human experiences. Why we learn and why we get to have some growth experiences, why we get to go deeper with all of our guests and all of the great things that we learn here on the show. Tonight will be no exception. So get all cozy. We're going to have some great conversation. But first, I want to invite you to visit soulwanderings.com. If you don't know much about myself or the show, that's a great place to learn about what I do and the things I'm up to and about the show. This show's been running for almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years in October. So there's a lot of shows there that you can listen to, a lot of changes and ups and downs and all kinds of guests. And also make sure you visit kgradb.com. That's the great place to check out my show and my archives, and also check out all of the other shows hosted here on kgradb.com. There's stuff that you can see by just visiting. There's stuff that you can see in the members only area. And I'll be giving you guys a promo code later here during the show where you can take advantage of a discount if you wanted to join in the members area. But let's put all that on hold for now and let's introduce our guest. Tonight, our guest is Pat Benincasa, and she's an artist, art educator, and podcaster who loves to give form to a good idea. So she uses paint, still, and even words to tell a good story. Her art has received national and international recognition, and she has been awarded National Percent for Art in General Services Administration Art and Architecture Commissions. Whew, say that a few times. She hosts Fill to Capacity. It's a podcast for people too stubborn to quit and too creative not to make a difference. And tonight our conversation will be about her, getting to know her on a deeper level, and also about the intersection between art and the unknown. So the consciousness of art, and where does it come from? I'm so excited to dive into this conversation, Pat. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, AJ. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we already started talking before the show, and my producer was like, "Hey, shh, gotta start the show." We were just wandering already.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to share, and I'm really excited to get to know you. So in your own words, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who's Pat?
Well, I guess right out the gate, I'm a first generation Italian American. My parents were born in Italy. And so I grew up around broken English, but I'm an American. Okay. And I had to remind myself that. And so growing up in that environment, and I knew as soon as I could be conscious of my own thoughts that I was an artist. I knew it. When I was a little kid, I started drawing in the edges of my parents' books, because as a little kid, I thought, oh, all that clear space. Yeah, it had those lines on it, but I saw this, so I knew it. And it wasn't a career. It's not about a career. It's about why I'm here. It was that clear to me. And
you just always knew it was your purpose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I have to say, growing up in the 50s and 60s, yeah, I'm that old. Okay, come back. All right. So, growing up in the 50s and 60s, I went to parochial school, and I'm dyslexic and I'm ADD. And so, let's just say that was not the most positive environment for a kid like me. Nowadays classes, we know about ADHD, we know about kids with panic attack. I mean, there's a wonderful way that we are student focused when we know what's going on with a student. So, but back then, oh, AJ, not so much. And so they didn't have art classes. They would hand out these mimeograph drawings of saints, and you were supposed to color them. So I'd start drawing in the background, and and I'd get in trouble. So
Yeah.
it wasn't an easy road, but I just knew it was going to be. It had to be.
Well, you knew it was part of who you were, so of course it
Yes.
had to be, because that's the way you were going to choose to live your life.
Yes, and my parents didn't really talk about art. They were business people, and so they came to this country with nothing. And the fact that they put everything on the line, they had their own business and they worked hard. So art wasn't really talked about. But I got to tell you, there was a department store, and I was about maybe 11 or 12, and I went to it was Dayton's downtown Hudson's in Detroit, and on the top floor they had a little bookstore. So I grabbed this book, and it says like the history of Western art. And I didn't know what the hell that meant. I just opened the pictures.
Yeah.
And I opened the book, and there was a painting by Giotto, early Renaissance. And it knocked the wind right out of me. It just knocked. I thought, I know this. It was like I was opening a family, relatives. And even as a little kid, I looked at that, and the expression on the faces were so tender and so moving. That's the beginning of the Renaissance. Went from icons to Giotto coming along saying, no, we need expression. We need to tell a story and I'm looking at the tenderness and the poignancy, and I can hardly catch my breath. And all I knew was I started digging in my pockets to see if I had enough money. I just barely had enough money, but I bought the book. Oh my God. So it's like the universe always gave me little gifts, even though I didn't know what to do with them. And a lot of times I'd argue, like, what is this? What do you mean I'm supposed to do? What the hell's what? Okay. So I have this dialogue in my head, but then I eventually, after I have my temper tantrum, I go along with what the universe is prodding me to do.
Yeah. Well, I love that you tuned in to even listen. A lot of us don't even have that awareness to do so. But especially being so young, that's great.
I think that sometimes we get messages. Well, a lot of times we get messages wherever we are in life. And sometimes we don't listen, or we second guess those little messages. And it's taken me a long time to trust them, not to second guess them, not to weigh them, not to measure them, but to just, what does that mean? Just to ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I graduated from high school, I was told, don't think about college. You're never going to be anything. You're not going to make it. In grade school, I was using the example. They'd call me up in the front of the room and say, this is what now, if they did this today, they would be sued. They'd say, this is what a stupid little girl looks like when she reads. And I'd have to read in front of the room. By the time, I mean, it wasn't until I left. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So all through my education, I pick up a book, I'd panic. I would just panic. Well, guess why? But so when I graduated from high school, they said, don't even think about it. And of course, I thought about it, and I barely got into a school. I did. I got into a college, and I took art classes, but I'm a slow learner. I'm not the kid that in the art class, if anybody's out there taking art classes, or there's always the students that the professor will go, oh my gosh, people, look at this. Look at this. I was not that kid at all, because I just couldn't figure out what they were saying. My mind wouldn't process it, because I kept reversing everything. Oh, geez. Okay. So when I graduated from college, I went to the dean of fine arts. I said, I'm thinking about graduate school. And because I thought, AJ, to be an artist, I had to go to graduate school.
Yeah.
Because back then, that's what they said.
Well, that's what they always told you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I swear to God, the guy said, he was stroking his beard, and he didn't talk right away. And he said, have you ever thought about selling shoes? So I thanked him for his time and I left. And I applied to graduate schools. And my friends were getting accepted. I was rejected from 10 graduate schools.
Wow.
And it was all my friends were going, look, I got a scholarship at XYZ school. And I'm thinking, whoa. And I'd go back to I was living in a house with a lot of girls in college, and my bedroom was my little studio. And I'd just go back and I'd sob. I'd close the door because I was too proud to show it that I was a wreck. But I just felt so like, what am I going to do? I have to be an artist. These people don't understand. What am I going to do? And then I got into a graduate school on probation, and they made me take all these like beginner classes. I didn't care. And I got 2 graduate degrees, an MFA and an MA. And the reason I did, well, it was petty, I got to tell you, but it felt good because I wanted just to say to these people, you don't tell someone what they can't do. I'll be damned.
Yeah. Good for you.
And then when I got the degrees, the ceremony for the MFA, I took it back to my studio and I lit a match and I burned it. Because I know, and I knew then, a piece of paper is not going to make me an artist. Only a lifetime of work will determine. I told myself, if I do a lifetime of work, maybe then I'll ask the question, am I an artist?
Wow. Do you consider yourself an artist now?
Yeah, I do. Yes. With all the passion and joy that I can muster up and say it, yes.
Oh, I love that. That must feel amazing for you to be at that point in your life where you have ownership in that.
Yeah, I'm glad. I like the way you phrase that. When you talk about taking ownership of our own identity.
Mm-hmm.
There's this new book that came out about Rumi, the poet. I love Rumi. Oh my God. I'm a junkie for the guy. Yes. And this new book came out called Gold. And there's a little passage by Rumi. It says, if you remember who you are, what will you become? Oh, AJ, I damn near fell off my chair. I read that.
It's a powerful question.
And it goes back to ownership.
Yeah.
If you remember who you are, what will you become? And along the way, sometimes people lose that ownership.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a position to remember or know who they are because the culture or society or events happen in their lives that they can't claim it. And then Rumi says, if you remember, what will you become?
I really, really love that question. It's so profound, and I can see why your breath was taken away by it, because I'm sitting here soaking in that question and asking myself as an artist myself, and I have decided to call me an artist because I create art, and
Yep.
I was told my whole life that you'll never be an artist. An artist doesn't pay. That's not a living. All the teachers would be like, this is not the way it's supposed to look like, just like we were talking before the show. And it took me so long to actually step into that because I had people around me saying, wow, your art made me feel this. Your art did this for me. Mm-hmm. And I realized at that point that it wasn't about a title. I'm calling myself an artist because that's what I do. I create art. However, the messages that are coming through, the art is what is important.
Yes.
And we are here in this human experience to share our gifts and our talents with each other. And step into that ownership because it's our birthright.
Yes. Yes. but it's a challenge for some people.
It is. It's still a challenge for me.
Well, and also, I mean, I think it's like we're always pushing upstream.
Mm-hmm.
We get this voice guiding us, telling us this is what you need to do, and we can feel the pushback.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I'm very careful about who I surround myself with, in the sense of there are people that are so negative.
Mm-hmm.
They're so negative that it just drains the life force. Now, wait a minute. It took me many years to figure that one out. So I did not come down the cosmic baby chute knowing that. It's just a lot of mistakes and oh my God.
Yeah.
So the idea of, how do you want to surround yourself with what kind of energy? And I look for people who celebrate life, who go after wanting to do something, to be something, to give something. Those are the people I love being around.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Why would we want it any other way? I just feel like those are the kind of people that are always going to support you and uplift you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially when you're learning and growing through this experience and finding your way, navigating your way through the ups and downs, and when you're about to step in or you are stepping into the truth of who you are and living your passions and your callings in life, those are the kind of people you need surrounded by you always.
Yes.
Always.
Absolutely. And so this idea of art, I mean, when they say like, I made it a big deal to call myself an artist because I had come up so hard that I thought it was this like, the angels in heaven, the cherubim and seraphim would announce with a banner, that, you're an artist now. And it doesn't work that way. And really, when you get down to it, I like what you say. It comes like you make art because you touch lives with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an expression of one soul to the other. And it reminds me that I taught art for many years. And I never my education was so horrendous I never had one teacher that I could say, oh, that teacher really believed in me. It was just, my whole education was just a very bad experience. And it wasn't until I left graduate school and I moved from Detroit to Minnesota, to Minneapolis. And when I moved here, there was this thing called the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And so I got a warehouse space downtown Minneapolis. And you just get a warehouse space. I thought, what the hell am I going to do? I don't know, but I have to have a space. And so I always had this dialogue. Now what are you going to do? And then I just say, be still. We just got to do it. Come on. So I got this space and I'm making this warehouse space, and I would go out with these artists and I would just listen to their converse. These young artists were talking about philosophers, writers, poets, scientists. When I came out of graduate school, I felt so intellectually inferior because it was drilled into me that I was, not smart. And as an adult now looking back, they didn't know how to chart my intelligence. But you don't know that as a little kid.
Right.
And you don't know that going through school. So when they were talking about all these artists and poets and writers, I would excuse myself. We'd be at a bar drinking or a coffee shop. I always kept this book. So I start writing down every name that was discussed. Then I come back at the table and everybody's talking and then the conversation go into something else. And I go and leave and write it down. But every time back then it was pre-internet. So I'd go to the stacks in the Minneapolis library. I'd take out all these books and start reading about these people. And it was like for the first time, I could pick up a book and not panic and not sweat. And I couldn't believe it. And so, God, it was like 5 years, 700 books later, I was just reading everything I can get my hands on because I found my teachers.
Yeah.
I found Emma Goldman, Iron Will, Tender Heart. I found James Baldwin, The Prose of Rage. And Rumi saying, no, live in the mystery. It's okay. You can handle that. And Camus taught me how to be a rebel. And I thought, I found my teachers. Yeah. I found them. There you are. You were waiting the whole time.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much.
They were there, AJ, the whole time. Those are my teachers.
There are so many quotes, and I'm trying to think of what they are, but it isn't like when the student appears, so will the teacher.
Yeah, something like that. The teacher will appear.
The teacher, vice versa.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of, because I got really frustrated with the school system and the art classes myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't find any support or any teachers that inspired me or encouraged me to be me, right? They all just were in these boxes, and they wanted you to fit in their boxes.
Yes.
And I never fit in their box. And so I was always like an outcast, if you will. I struggled with learning. I have ADHD. I have all these little things that play a role in like the normal society life that are challenging.
Yes.
And now as I get older, I'm having some cognitive issues because of some other things. But the one thing that has always stayed true to me is my expression through art. That has always been my safe place. It's been where I've gone to heal, to release, to feel, to let go, like all of this good stuff. That's like, they don't teach you in art classes.
No. And
they
I
don't
think
teach you about that good stuff.
No. And I think I share that with you, that no matter what happened, I was always drawing. They could make fun of me in class. They could call me stupid, but I was always drawing. And my art was always that place where I knew I could exist. It was my home. That's where
I was about to say it was your home.
It's my home. And like what you did, you knew that you had to do this. And, teachers were busy. Those art professors were talking about, the phenomenological approach to the artist intent. And I'm thinking, what the hell is that? They would talk in this art talk, and I was flummoxed by it. And it just didn't speak to me. I just knew that there was something, that expression is something intimate. It comes from who you are.
Yeah.
How you see the world. That's what generates the expression. Oh my gosh. And I also believe, though, that it's an art, like a job of an artist is to read and learn and try to research as much as you can to bring all of that in to the art that you make.
And you're doing that. You're creating all kinds of amazing art. We're going to be hopping into a break. But before we do, I want to share with everyone your website. So as we're wandering with you, they can go and see some of your creations.
Thank you.
We also have a few photos will be popping up here if you guys are watching with us live on KGRA Digital Broadcasting's YouTube and Facebook pages, as well as on KGRA tb.com. Then you'll be able to see some of this incredible art. You use different mediums.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's all different types of art that's happening here, you guys. You'll really appreciate it. It's absolutely beautiful. And your eye on the way that you look at things. That's what I love about artists, right? We're all so individual.
Yes.
And have such a unique way of looking at the same thing.
Yes.
And it's just that's what makes it more beautiful and just that much more amazing. Okay, so the website is going across the screen thanks to Chanel, our producer. But you can also go to Benincasa-art and .com. And that is where you're going to see all of this amazing, like there's just tons. You guys just go deep dive into those beautiful pieces of artwork. And then when we get back, we'll get to spend more time with Pat and learn some more. Stay close, everyone. We'll be right back.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Are you looking to go on a faraway journey that is magical and mysterious, reaping on mystical legends? If so, then Mysterious Adventure Tours is perfect for you. Imagine a voyage to explore ancient mysteries of Ireland, haunted majesties of Scotland, or their chilling birth of the vampires in Romania. These small esoteric getaways are limited and do fill fast. So, go to mysteriousAdventuretours.com and book your trip soon.
Hi, I'm Austin Butler from Baz Luhrmann's new film, Elvis.
Tomorrow, all of America will be talking about Elvis Presley.
As a blood donor himself, Elvis shared the gift of life with patients in need and asked others to do the same. We're encouraging you to give blood this summer. Please visit redcrossblood.org/Elvis movie today to learn more.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I just got sucked in reading all the comments in the chat, and then here we are. Welcome back to Soul Wanderings. Tonight we are hanging out with Pat Benincasa, and she's an award-winning artist and podcast host. I really adore your energy.
AJ, I'm trying to be sedate. Okay, I'm just trying to cool it here because I don't want to scare the hell out of everybody. But I get very, very passionate about good conversation, talking about art and life.
I love that. And I don't want you to be anything but yourself. That's what Soul Wanderings is about. You get to show up as you and be your authentic self. And your energy, I was telling Chanel, I just love her energy. This show's going to be so much fun. I'm really glad that you're here tonight.
Well, thank you.
And I just have to say, we had Michelle Freed on last week, as most of you know. Great guest. Mm-hmm. She is the one that booked Pat for this evening. So big thanks to her. She's really good at what she does.
Wow. Is she ever?
Yeah. She did good working with her.
I think of Michelle, as I've gotten to know her, as the big connector. There's some people in life that have the gift of connecting. Mm-hmm. I've known a couple. But there are some people that they know how to pull different people and bring them together. They just know in their, and then their DNA, they know how to do that. And she's one of those people.
Mm-hmm. She is. She's incredibly amazing that way. Everyone that she has sent to Soul Wander has been just awesome. And you're definitely included in that.
Thank you.
So we're talking about you, but we're also talking about art.
Yes.
And the thing that you like to discuss, obviously, is art, but the intersection between art and the unknown. And so this is like jumping into, you've got this passion for art. You always knew you were going to be an artist. It's been your entire life. When did you start questioning a connection between creating art and all of the questions that come when you're an artist, like where are these ideas coming from? Where is this inspiration coming from? And asking those questions.
Wow. Okay, I got to fess up here. I came to this later in life, in the sense that my partner is someone who lives very easily with the dead. I was not like that, AJ. I just wasn't. Cemeteries, you just drive faster and you go by them. And here's somebody talking about these cities of the dead and the stories there and the people. And oh my God, it was like, well, okay. When you fall in love with somebody, they come in and rearrange your mental furniture, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's a wonderful thing that happens. And so as I got to know this person and loving this person, it's like opened my eyes to a whole different way of being. And I think that I was for me, the unknown, and I'm not speaking for other artists at all. I'm just speaking from my own experience. I want to make that clear. It's like, I know that I don't make my art alone. I know that. And so for me, it's my ancestors, my beloved ancestors. They're always with me. They're the ones that are part of this. And so how do I say this? So there's this whole mythology, excuse me, when you go to art school, of the lone genius. On Mount Genius, usually a male, coming up with these ideas, and all they have to do is make art all day long because genius just fills them with that idea. And that's something that Western culture is really bought into. The divine artist, the bad boy artist that can be rude and obnoxious, but they're a genius. It's okay.
Right.
And so this whole notion of the solitary genius, it started with Giorgio Vasari when he wrote about the lives of the artists in the 1500s. No one had ever really talked about artists, and they were looked at more as like craftsmen. So along comes Giorgio. He's hanging around with Michelangelo and all these, and they're all heavy hitters. No question about it. But he wrote the first PR book about the life of an artist. He was the first to say, here's Da Vinci, here's Michelangelo, he's divine, he gets these ideas, and he would talk about them. And it's breathtaking. I'm so glad he did, because we have these lives that we could look at and study. But that mythology of the male solitary genius artist, living outside of the norms of the world, making art, needing no one but their art. And I always wrestled with that. And I'm not sure why I did. I just thought, like, yeah, but I'm in the world. Now, how does that work? And also coming up, making art in the 70s, you were told you can't get married, you can't have kids, because if you do, as a woman, you're going to kiss your art goodbye. And again, I thought, really? Now, how is it? This just doesn't seem right. It just didn't feel right. And so I had an inclination that art is not about a solitary genius thing. It wasn't for me. It was about researching, getting ideas, falling in love with poetry. Those were the sources. Those were the people speaking to me, looking at other artists that I admire. Those were the things that were filtering in. Mm-hmm. It's really about how to be in the world and take all the gifts of those people that lived before us. And for me, my parents were born in Italy. And so you do these DNA tests, and I am a child of the Mediterranean. I'm, Southern Italian, a little bit of Crete, but mainly Italian. So I go back and I think, who are you? My beloved ancestors. Like, were you artisans? Were you craftsmen? And I want to just talk now. I want to make a note here. Someone once told me, I said, I want to call on my ancestors. And this one woman, she was an older woman, she was very wise. She said, no. You want to call your beloved ancestors. You don't want to be calling in the riffraff, the ones that want to make mischief. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah. You had those duh moments. It's like people in life today. You want to bring around you those people that are loving and caring. So in the morning, okay, I'm going to tell you this. In the morning when I do yoga, I do it's a DVD, and every morning, and at the end she says Shavasana and how you're resting there. And she said, release your muscle and bones. And it hit me. I release my muscle and bones into the hands of my beloved ancestors. Crowd surf me into this day. Come on, you guys. So my morning prayer is, come on, you guys. Who's going to come forward today? Because I figure there's like 502 of them. I don't know why I think that. And so when you have a need, you have beloved ancestors that go, oh, I'll take that today. I can handle this with her. Yeah, I'll come. Me too. And so they rotate. It's not the same people over and over again. Okay. That's my picture of it, that I have these beloved ancestors always ready to help. And I see it. I see it.
Oh, I just love that. That feels so good to me. That feels so good. I know a lot of artists will create from an ego space, and you can see the difference, or feel, I should say, you can feel the difference in their art versus those who are connecting their art through their heart space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is that connection. And sometimes I'd be working on a painting for months, and I get so mad. I'd take a sander, a block sander, and sand the hell out of it and just start over again. And I'd another couple, and I'd sand it. And as a younger artist, I would say, what's wrong with me? Why can't I, this urgency to get it, 10-hour days, 12-hour days in the studio. Now I look at it and I say, I don't understand what this is about. I'll sleep on it. Will you guys help me tonight? I turn it over. And it's because I have to let go of myself. I have to let go. I am not calling the shots. When I make a painting, it's like I have this idea, I'm doing this research, I start to go at it. As a younger artist, yes, I'm going to make a painting about this. And I'd go and start doing it. Now, here's how it really works for me. I start the painting, I know what I want to do, and I'll be at it for a week or two, but the painting's not letting me in. Okay? So we do cat and mouse. And I keep working, and all of a sudden I think, okay, I got to keep working. And all of a sudden it happens. I'm in the painting. The painting lets me in. Wow. And I can feel it. I know it when it happens. And I get a sense of where, you start with what you want to do, but it's the painting that tells you where it's going to go, what it needs. And I have to tell you, I have an ego the size of Nebraska. So as a younger artist, I'm arguing and saying, no, I want, and my ideas were so boring compared to where the painting wanted to go. That was interesting. Mine was only this little human, myopic view. But when I let it go and say, painting, what do you want to be? What is this? Yow! Then magic happens.
Yeah. That's the intuitive painting working.
Yes.
Like I was explaining before the show, how I go through a meditation process and really connect before I'll start creating. And what I create isn't mine. I literally am just a conduit for Source to create through me. And I feel like your way of creating is very similar.
I would add to that, if I may, AJ, I think it's an alchemy process. The alchemy of the meditation, whether it's ancestors or you connecting with the divine connection, the animus mundi, that which connects all. Yeah. But it has to have the right container, and that container is the authentic self.
Yeah.
It's who we are. In all our foibles, burnt bridges, mistakes, joys, and sorrows. That's where, if we open to those questions, this is the container that's strong enough to hold it.
Yeah.
Am I making sense? Sometimes I say things I think,
no, it makes sense to me. Totally. In fact, you're inspiring me so much. We got cut off because the show started, but I was sharing with you, and now I'll share with all of you. you put art away sometimes. At least I do. You just have to. And then you like long for this inspiration to happen to bring you back to it, because you're either overthinking it or you're not putting other things away to focus on it. Whatever the reason is, you step away from it, and coming back to it, you've got to somehow have that connection again, or find that spark again, or find that inspiration, or whatever it is. I know for me, when I've tried to force it, it just doesn't work. Like I want to create and I'll go and try to create, but trying to create doesn't do anything but frustrate me because it's not flowing through me.
Yep.
Yes. So it's just a different space to be in, but I've been feeling that calling, that prompting, and then having you on the show, like I knew it was just another sign, like it's time to start doing this again. And I've had several messages over the last several weeks. And so it's just neat that you showed up here tonight. It's perfect timing. I look at it as a sign, and I'm so thankful for it.
Well, it seems like we intersect with people at the right time and at the right moment. I do believe that. And for a lot of reasons.
So as an artist, do you have to feel inspired, or do you feel like you receive downloads and then go and create the art? Is it something that you see or read or feel and you're like, oh, that's taking me to want to create such and such? Or is it a download that you receive?
I wish I could say it was a download and I'm channeling, but no, not at all. Not even in the ballpark. My body of work, if you've gone to my site, I don't stay with one material. I haven't, and I was told early on, you're shooting yourself in the foot because the art world doesn't work that way. If you're going to be a painter, you stay with painting. And I didn't. I jumped materials. I will always follow the idea. And if the idea says put away the paints and start using glass, I'm all about it.
Ugh,
and so just to give you an idea, I'm going to answer you, but I have to kind of go through the back door here. Okay. So, when I was working as a painter, I was doing these Persian rugs. I was breaking down the geometry, and I would use oil paint and glazes like varnish, and I used 20 or 30 layers of glaze, and I would tint it. So when you looked at it, the painting would go back in space. So a friend came over and said, and we were talking about the painting, and they go, "Oh, wow, that glazing. What are you doing?" And I was really frustrated. I said, I must have used 15 layers of glaze. Or I said, a varnish. I said, one of these days I'm going to build the damn thing out of glaze. And it was like, whoa, what do architects call glaze?
Yeah.
That day, I cleaned out the studio, put all the painting stuff aside. I called the glass company and had them deliver 2 or 3 8-foot by 3-foot pieces of glass, 3/8 inch. And they delivered it, and it was on my wall leaning. And I thought, yeah, here we go. And then this voice said, what the hell are you going to do? What are you going to do? Why did you get the glass? What do you, I always had that critical voice. And and at that time I was carried by a gallery, and I called the guy and I said, I'm not painting anymore. I'm working in glass. Dead silence. It's just that I just had to do that. And, again, it just seems so right, that beautiful transparency glass. But at that time I didn't have a clue what to do. And now here, when you talk about like the universe sending us messages, there was a competition to do a skylight for the Minnesota Judicial Center on the state capitol grounds. And a skylight, was flat. And I thought, I'm going to enter that because I just started working in glass. It's going to accelerate my learning curve. Now that's an idea. So I worked with some other people. We put together an idea, and I saw the blueprint, and the skylight was over staircase. Here's where I got my first hit. It said, a waterfall of light cascading over a river access of stairs. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell was that? It was just so foreign to the way I don't do anything gentle, okay? I'm not going to be one to go gentle into any good night or any new idea. I'm just going to be upfront. Okay. So I'm thinking of that and I'm looking at the blueprint and all I could see was this waterfall of light. I didn't know what the hell that even meant. But long story short, I ended up doing a proposal for the skylight. I was researching the committee who was going to pick. I researched the hell out of everything, and I found that the architect already knew who he wanted, and it was this guy known for his flat judicial skylights.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh God, this is not good. And then I thought, go for broke. Go do something so out there that if they turn you down, it's not because you didn't try. I was also going through a divorce at that time. It was the worst time of my life. I can't even tell you how frightening that is. My ex was a litigator, a lawyer who loves to argue. And it was kind of rugged. And it was a scary time. My parents were in Michigan. My dad wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't tell them what was going on. I didn't want to worry them. It's an Italian thing. You tough it out. You keep it to yourself. You know, some of your genes, honest to God, they can really get you in trouble. Okay. All right. Come back.
No, I totally understand.
Okay. You know, when I used to teach, I'd go off on a tangent and the kids would say, uh-oh, Pat's in the ADD car. Okay. I'd say, okay, park the car. We're coming back. Okay.
I live in those cars, so I'm following you.
You understand. So it was a horrible time in my life. And I had money in my savings account. And so I cleared it out and I built a 6 foot by 7 foot model replica of the Judicial Center. And I started playing around with the glass and I came up with a 3-dimensional glass and steel waterfall with tinted glass overlays. And the sun goes east to west. So when the sun would travel, the light would come down on the columns like a sundial. And I used the idea of a waterfall as the metaphor, because I saw that waterfall of light. And long story short, they selected it.
Wow.
And then I thought, now what the hell are you going to do? Now I got to build this thing.
out.
So it was 7 tons of glass and steel, 614 pieces of art glass. And the whole thing, it was a wonderful experience. Oh God, it was just like I was doing this morning, noon and night, but it's there on the state capitol grounds and this falling water skylight. And I'll tell you how this happened. When I first came to Minnesota, you almost get this guidebook, like how to be a Minnesotan. And every time I'd be walking down the street, I'm from Detroit, okay? You don't go talking to people. You just go wherever you're going to go. And Minnesotans are you lost? Can I walk you? Where are you going? Because I was looking for, warehouse space. So, I had culture shock. And also everybody's like was tall and okay. And so, okay. So one of the things you had to do when you became a Minnesotan, you had to go to Orchestra Hall. Okay. Or the Boundary Waters. I did that. God, I'll never do that again. I mean, I love nature, but 64 mosquito bites and hauling a canoe. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No,
all right.
thanks.
Yeah, I'm just going to come back. So I went to Orchestra Hall and they're playing this beautiful Mozart. And I'm getting mad. I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm getting pissed. And I can feel it. And I thought, what is the matter with you? And I'm getting angrier and angrier. And the more beautiful the music, the more poignant and moving. It was like I couldn't even see straight. I was so rageful. And then it shot through me. Musicians can fill a space. I can only describe it.
Wow.
It ripped my heart apart. It just killed me. They can fill a space, but I can only describe it. But glass, do you see? I was heading towards the glass. I didn't even know it. Glass, when the light, art glass has different like colors to it. And then when I position it, I'd have some at an angle over others. So it's a dimensional experience and the colors mix. and then they cast reflections, and oh my God. It wasn't until years later when I was looking at the reflections, I thought, there it is. I'm a musician. I can fill the space. I'm filling the space, because with light and glass, it's a beautiful contradiction. Yeah. It fills the space. But if I said to you, grab that reflection and bring it here, you can't. Right. It's totally empty and filled simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
And it made me want to weep. It just, the glass, I'm telling you,
You know, Pat, you're so poetic in the way that you share. The way that you see the world and the way that you feel your experiences, it's so breathtaking to me. The way that you've just explained all of that. Your mind is beautiful. I don't even know what to say. It just is really beautiful.
Well, thank you. I love words. I love words. Maybe because I had to fight for them. I had to fight for them. Yeah. I had to really crawl through emotional barbed wire to get to what was waiting when I opened a book. And I love poetry. I love literature. I love all of that. It's like unwrapping Christmas presents for me. You open a book, oh my God, a new adventure,
I'm feeling that from you very much so. Kathy in chat said why music is used to fill the space in movies.
That's nice.
Didn't even think about that.
Oh God.
But it's true.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing I didn't think about that earlier, because I'd really be pissed. Okay.
Yeah. But the messages that came from that space, that's profound. Yeah. I was looking at your sculptures and public projects, and there was one that I was really drawn to, the night garden with moon arcs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. You guys, if you're on Pat's website, and if you're not, go to patbenincasa-art.com and go and look at all of these beautiful pieces of art that she's created. But in the sculptures one, those are so amazing and creative, so artistic. Those just don't get created by just, I'm going to create this one day. You can tell that there's a lot of heart and feeling and emotion that goes behind the work. We're going to have to go to a break, and it's a loaded question, but I want to know your process. So when we get back, we'll definitely dive into that.
Okay.
But it's really neat. It's really neat to me how you work with so many different mediums. Your painting and your glass and
sheet metal,
and you have some wood going on. You have so much going on. And I love how multifaceted all of this is, and the depths of the art that you have created. It's not just thrown together. You can tell you've spent a ton of time and investment into your work. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
You also have an Instagram, Pat. Do you want to share your Instagram with all of us?
It's patbenincasa.art. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm an Instagram fan. I really like it's more authentic and genuine than Facebook.
Oh yeah.
If you're following your kind of people, that's
yeah.
Because of course there's two sides of every foundation, but let's just cut right to it and go to the break so we can get back quicker. I know Chanel's listening. She's got my back. So everyone stay close. When we get back, we're going to have an entire hour commercial free to continue our wandering with Pat. Stay close.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
we alone in the universe? The most important question facing humanity is on the verge of being settled once and for all. The Mutual UFO Network has been at the forefront of this journey for nearly 50 years. Our members worldwide are dedicated to the research, documentation, and awareness that will shape the future of humanity. Won't you join us?
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
Hello, my beautiful wanderers. Welcome back. We are in our second hour of Soul Wandering with Pat, and she is an artist, an award-winning artist at that. She's an art teacher, podcast host. She has so much going on in her big, beautiful brain, as we all will know if you've been hanging out with us. You laugh, but I really feel that. It's so cool. Before we continue on, I just want to make sure I invite you guys all over to kgradb.com. That's where the show is hosted. Not only my show, but a ton of other shows. So if you're questioning anything that's going on in the universe, or you really like popular topics like paranormal and ufology, things like that, this is the station for you to hang out on. And there's also a members area. If you want to join, make sure you use the promo code SOUL21, SOUL21. That way you'll receive 30% off your annual membership. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of savings, and the memberships aren't that much anyway. It just helps us support the station and all of the research and development that we're doing here. And you guys are a big part of it. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your time and energy and space with us. And Pat, that goes for you as well. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I am just like giddy tonight with you. I'm not even kidding. I feel like I'm like fangirling and like getting totally inspired. And I just want to pick your brain and ask you so many questions. And yet words aren't coming out because my cheeks hurt, because I'm just so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I just love the way that we just evolved this conversation.
Oh, there's no accidents, right? Everything happens perfectly, just the way that it's meant to happen. So you've shared with us your deep passion for art and part of how you create your art, but I would really like to know your process, like from the beginning to the end, and how you decide like the medium you're going to use, what you're going to create when you don't have a project like that city project, when you're just in your space creating art. How does that work out for you?
Well, again, it's the idea. When I did the falling water skylight, the 3-dimensional skylight in the 90s, I was experimenting with a 2-sided window. I hate flat windows. They just make me nuts. You know, architects will design beautiful fascia, facade, material, but the windows are always flat. Windows like the earth were once thought to be flat. Okay. All right. So with that said, I would go to this model store, like car models and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I used the idea of ships as a metaphor. And when I say a two-sided window, I mean that the window on the outside looks different than the window on the inside. Okay. And so it was a shipping theme. So I'd use ship parts. So I was going to this model store, and the guy behind the counter had a cigarette, and I'd be coming in there and I'd be buying all these ship pieces, models. And, oh, you're back again, huh? I go, yeah. And he says, boy, I bet your little kid loves these models, huh? I said, yeah, he's crazy about them. So, because I kept buying like 4 or 5 boxes, and I'd bring them back to the studio and break them apart and use them on these windows. So I follow an idea, two-sided window, because I knew if I made a two-sided window, if I did this, here's my deal. Okay. I said to the universe, all right. Okay. Here's the deal. You want me to do this? I'll take your lead. I'll follow it. But you better sure as hell, show me where I can do this. Okay. I'll build it, but who's going to want this? So that's on your end. I'm putting this on you. That's not on me. Okay. Yeah. That was a prayer. Okay. So I'm building these windows. And so when I do that, I start reading everything about ships, shipping, shipping lanes, the types of ships. I just want to know everything there is about ships. And so I would take hulls apart and build the edges of the window out of hulls. I mean, I was just all sorts of things. And art glass, again, color glass. But the window was still flat. And I thought, how do I break it? See, most people look at a window like people. Mm-hmm. I look at it from a sculptor's point of view. So you see why I get mad if the window's flat? If you're a sculptor, a flat window's not going to do it. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very bland for you. Yeah.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did have a chance to make a dimensional window, so that I work on these ideas day and night. I just break them apart. I make scale models. I must have made 400 or 500 scale models out of balsa wood, glass pieces, hot glue gun. I'm always building. They're 3D sketches is what I'm doing. Okay. I get an idea rather than trying to draw it out. I don't have time. So I just put that sucker together. I know what to do. And the model is always dead on. So, I became artist in residence at a Catholic school, a high school, and they asked me to teach. I said, no way am I going to teach at a Catholic high school. I said, first of all, you don't teach art at a Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. I'll be your artist in residence. Let me redesign your art department and we'll do it. And they're going, huh? What? Okay. So I did. And I redesigned their program, and I made it an art program, like for artists. And so they built this new chapel. And the president of the school, Joe's looking at he brought me into the chapel, and they had this 14-foot by 8-foot window. He said, yeah, out in front of the window, we're going to put an aluminum cross. And I'm looking at the guy. I said, Joe, what? He said, and there's this beautiful chapel, very plain and beautiful woods. Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, right. I said, nobody's going to want to come to a chapel with no. You need a 3-dimensional chapel window with a 10-foot glass cross on boulders, and it has to be multiple pieces of glass overlay, and it's going to project out in space.
And what was he?
Well, he looked at me. He said, oh. And I'm thinking, what the hell just came out of your mouth? What are you doing? And so he said, okay, build it. Show me what you mean. I went back. I built the model. It's all on my website, the whole progression of it. I built a model in my studio, and there it was. So then I built see, people don't see what you see. I learned that early on. So I have to build a scale model of the environment, so that anybody could say, oh, that's what it is. Because telling somebody what glass does Oh my God. You might as well just put your thoughts on a wet rag and dip it in gray paint. I mean, you're not going to get mileage out of that. You got to see it.
Yeah.
So I built the model and they loved it. And it was called Redemption Window. And what it was, and it's interesting, because I was raised in an Italian Catholic family and went to Catholic school, I could tell you any saint for any day, for any need. Okay. I know the saints. I'm just telling you. That's a sidebar. Okay. So I was steeped into that education.
Yeah.
And I remember starting this project and I was really agitato, really irritated. And I thought, what's the matter? What I was trying to understand. And I thought, oh, okay. You got to come clean. Do you believe in the promise or the suffering? Which way do you go? And I thought, I hate when we smoke ourselves out, but if I'm going to proceed in making a work of art, I have to believe it. I have to believe that this is where my heart is. And so whether you believe in the Christian narrative or not, the idea is, do you believe in the hope and in the goodness? Or are you overwhelmed with the suffering and the tragedy of life? It really comes down to that. I had to make peace with that before I even got near this window. So when you talk about process, on some level, it is existential. You just fess up to yourself. Do I believe that? Do I believe in the suffering? Is that what's going to overwhelm me? Then how can I do this window? Because that's hopeless. I can't focus on the hopeless. I can't, And once I made peace with that, oh my God, I built a 10-foot cross, a box shape out of colored glass. And I got limestone for the rock steps of Golgotha to perch because it was a Christian community. I used the Gospel of Matthew. It was like a handbook, for the crucifixion, what was there, the visual imagery. So I have the rock steps of Golgotha, the boulders, the 10-foot cross. And then I made on the top, I had a cacophony of spilled like clouds of glass overlays, like purples and blues, pale colors that, that when the clouds get all, dramatic and the storm and so the only change I made from the model is that I had the rock steps really neat in the glass casing of the window. The window was 14 feet by 8 feet, 4 feet deep. When I built it, I pulled the rocks out. So psychologically, if people were in that chapel, they could psychologically climb up the rocks.
Wow.
The rocks could not be contained in the window jamb. And I saw that. It almost jumped out at me. That's what I'm talking about, channeling or getting these hits.
Yeah.
These unknown. When you talk about art in the unknown, where the hell does a thought like that even come from? Where did this glass cross even come from, perched on limestone boulders, And when you think about it that way, and then the glass actually punches out in real space into the parking lot.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and
Just seeing the photographs, I know aren't doing it justice.
Oh, yeah. It's really, you have to kind of be.
Yeah, it's unreal. I would love to see it in real life. I did post the link for those of you who are listening on YouTube and Facebook.
Oh, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I want people to see it.
Continue. So the other thought was, okay, I'm kind of like quirk. Okay, I can't. Okay, all right, come back. All right, I resent the fact that we're told that you have to go to a sacred place to find sacred. That drives me freaking nuts. Okay, and I thought, no. En contraire, mon frère, the sacred is in us. Yes. We are the sacred. That little voice that we argue with, that's the voice of the divine. Whether it's the divine feminine, the divine connection, universe, Buddha, I don't care what you call it, but that is the connection to that which is and has always been. And so that whole that whole idea that you had, that's why I made the glass dimensional. So at night when that's lit up, it's almost like an aquarium. That space spills out into the outer world because we are the divine. All that window is doing is acting as a marker, celebrating the sacred in all of us.
It's just breathtaking. It's just breathtaking.
And the best part, after I built it, and I was teaching there. So Joe comes up to me. He said, you know what's happening now? I said, what? He said, we got a problem with the chat. I said, what? What's the matter? He said, people want to get married and they want their pictures in front of the window. He said, we've got all this traffic in the chapel. I said, that's your problem. That's not mine. Deal with it. So to an artist, AJ, it doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely. You created emotions in other people. You gave them a place to feel, and what you've created. I mean, just I'm looking at my viewpoint when I see art that moves me. I'm moved by the art, and that was created by the artist. But also, I know you have a different take on the creation from the artist, right? Don't you believe that the art is channeled through you, through your ancestors? Or
for me, yes. I know they helped me with this stuff. I just don't think I could come up with that kind of. I just think that ancestors are plugging thoughts in if I listen.
Yeah.
If I listen and I don't second guess.
Well, how do you listen?
I don't know. I get these strange hits, and I all of a sudden, as a younger artist, I think, wait, what is that? Or when someone says, what are you doing? And this, like with Joe, this window came out of my mouth, AJ, fully formed. The words fully formed. Now, where does that come from? I walked into his office. We go down to the chapel. He's talking, well, it really pissed me. A metal cross. Really? Really? Okay. So, I mean, I'm in the moment. So where does that fully developed idea come from? Just like when I saw the blueprint, a waterfall of light cascading down a river access of stairs. Where do these thoughts come from? I don't know where the hell they come from. And as I've gotten older, I don't argue with them now. I just go.
You just listen.
I listen. So that's why I think there are sources, and they feel intimate to me. They feel Italian. They feel like I know them. I can't even explain it. They're familiar. It's a familiar energy. Yeah.
Well, I love that you're familiar with that energy and you're able to receive the information by listening. I think as humans, we're just always on the go. We're not really in the moment, and we're not listening to those still small voices.
Yeah.
And our guides, our ancestors, our angels, whatever you like to call them, they want to be here and support us and help us.
Yes.
And they also want to do work through you.
Yes.
And you get to a point in your life where you don't, but you have gotten to a point in your life where you've learned to listen and to feel what they're sharing with you, and create that piece from that space. Chanel, I want you to pull up the picture that where did it go? That I sent to you, the first 3D sacred window sculpture, so people can see it. This is what she's talking about.
That's Redemption Window.
Yeah.
And the building faces west. So when the sun goes down, the cross looks like it's on fire.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking at it from the outside. You can't even see the cross. So I can't even imagine what that looks like when the light shines through it. Incredible. And this piece is in Minnesota?
It's in Maplewood, Minnesota at the Hill Murray Chapel.
Wow.
It's a Benedictine chapel, high school.
I have family who live in Minnesota, and they've been asking me to come and visit. So I'm going to have to go to several places because I'm looking on your website and I see your art is everywhere. I'm going to have to go and look at all of them in real life.
Well, if you do, I'd love to meet you.
Oh my goodness, heck yes.
Oh, then we would really have, it's like coffee talk in the studio. I mean, you put on a pot of coffee and when we go at it.
Yeah, and create. Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. And then Chanel Redemption Window. That one is the other one that she was talking about.
This is the falling water skylight.
Water, I meant. It was tagged wrong on the picture. But this is the first one you were talking about where you submitted the idea.
Yes. And it's a falling water skylight. It's 30 feet by 14 feet, and it comes down 6 feet on our left if we're looking at the screen. And it's like each side has like a river, has edges to it. That's the idea, the motif. And it's 614 pieces of cut glass. And
unbelievable.
It took the steel yard 5.5 months to weld it. And I brought my model to I also do shop drawings of everything, and I build scale models. And those, oh my God, those steel guys, talk about artistry. Oh my God, what they can do with a torch and steel, it is breathtaking. Oh God. Because no artist ever does anything this is a many person project.
Yeah.
There were a lot of talented people that worked on this.
Yeah. Well, just looking through the steps and that link that I shared with all of you over on Facebook and YouTube on KGRA digital broadcasting pages, there's a process that she's sharing with us, but she also took the photos of the process, the sketches, the model, and all the people assisting her to create this beautiful piece of art. Oh, there was a lot that went into it. How long did that process take?
Well, it only took about 2 weeks to install, because anytime I do an installation, everything is tagged in sections. I know how exactly every piece, everything, the crates, we had 35 glass crates, and we had a 2.5 story scaffolding with a hydraulic lift.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took about 2.5 weeks of putting it together. And that's a story too. When I did that, the building was being refurbished, and there were all these tradespeople, and here come the artists, and I'm a woman, and it was really interesting. At first, they just kind of like, "What the hell is this?" And then, as they watched us work, it was like, then they come over and go, "Hey, what is that?" Or, "Hey, how did you do?" I don't know. What do you they were wonderful. It's just, they didn't know, people don't know what an artist, they have this kind of bohemian Lucy thing, goosey, which is so many of my colleagues are so hardworking and diligent. And I think when people are around that, then they get a better sense of what an artist is.
Yeah.
And then they were wonderful. They were so happy as the thing was coming to life,
Oh, I can't imagine. It just looks like magic to me, the whole process. That is just on such a grand scale, the creations that you've created. That's just incredible. What's your favorite medium to work with?
Oh, gosh, that's like asking, which of your children do you love the most?
True.
Each medium I was led to. Okay. The idea coalesced at the right time for who I was, what I needed to do, and the form of expression it was about to take. I also made glass labyrinths. I made a lot of those. And I had been working in glass labyrinths and then working on the windows. But after a while, when you cut glass that is 3 feet by 4 feet, I blew out my shoulder a few times because, it's really physical. And when you drag that glass cutter, it has to be perfectly same pressure. You can't let up, you'll get a run. And when you're talking art glass, German-made art glass, it's like $59 a sheet. You better know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after a while, doing the glass, it was really intense. But then, I started looking at the labyrinths, thinking about ancient cities. And then next thing I know, I'm making paintings of city maps based on geometry. The one constant in all my work is geometry, sacred geometry. I love that more than anything else.
Pattern, yes.
It's through all my work, and it is a truth and beauty that is so constant. It will never change. That to me is the divine, that geometry. It's just, I always end up, and I got to tell you, I got a D- in high school geometry, and the nun gave me the D- because she felt sorry for me instead of the F.
Oh.
You know, when you ask, like, well, I see these equations like X and Y or A and B. I don't know why or X or Y or what the hell they're doing. I don't care, but I could see it in my head. I could always see these things in my head, but when you put it in story form, it's just, the X, everything kind of flipped around and it would just flummox me. But yet my work now, when I do these installations, I generate blueprints, I'm meticulous about it, but maybe because it's a labor of love and I know the pattern of my thinking.
Yeah.
It's not foreign to me. But boy, if you ask me a story problem, I will just break out in tears. I just don't understand why it's on the train and where the melons are going and why the trains have to go in different directions at what time of day. I don't get it.
Are we soul sisters?
We must be. We must be. Simpatico. We are simpatico.
Yes. It's just crazy. I'm just like, oh, I relate to this so much. And it's frustrating in a lot of ways. Because that's like real world stuff, right?
Yeah.
We need to know how to problem solve and figure things out. But when your brain is more on the creative side, those real life things are challenging.
They are. And that's why I loved teaching. Oh God, I loved it. Even though I never saw myself as a teacher, I tripped into it. I was asked to teach at the College of Art and Design. I said, "You made a mistake. I am not a teacher." Because education was so horrible for me. I thought, I'm not going to do that to somebody. And the guy talked, he said, just come in and do it. So I taught at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And I thought, wow, because I taught the way I thought people should learn, which is joyful, intense, rigorous, passionate. And after I got the divorce, I thought, what am I going to do? Because I couldn't freelance. And I sometimes I would work on building crews. And I didn't want to do that. So I was a tour guide at the state capitol. And I was really shell-shocked coming out of my marriage. It was a really devastating, it was really hard. I had no self-esteem. I was just a mess. So I got a job at the state capitol and we had to take kids around, high school kids, little kids, for these tours. And every time I took these kids out, the teachers would come up to me and say, "Hey, where do you teach?" I go, "I don't teach." "Come on, where are you?" This happened almost every day. Now, here is a classic of knock, knock. Who's there? Universe with a message. And I would slam the door saying, "What's wrong with these people? Why the hell they keep asking me where I teach? I'm not a teacher." But I was acting out of the frustration and bitterness of what had happened.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I thought, I taught at the College of Art and Design. And then I thought I went and got a K through 12 license to teach in Minnesota so I could teach high school. And teaching high school art at an arts high school, oh, let me tell you, these are kids in performance, literature. They are the kids that are doing media arts. They're just full of themselves and the visual arts. And I loved it because those kids, when they came in, I could I could read them. I could read their energy before they even said anything. I knew exactly the kids who were getting maybe had a bad home life, the kids that were struggling with sexual identity. I could feel it. Mm-hmm. I could feel it. And my classes were the classes where they would come in and they knew I fiercely admired them and respected them. And I made sure that when we had these discussions to really support, when you hear that little voice in yourself, trust it. Or they'd say, "Well, what do you think I should do in this piece?" I'd say, "What do you want to do?" "Well, do you think I should?" I said, "Well, what do you think?" And it was like we'd go back and forth. But what I was trying to say I said, "Don't take my word for it. You've got wonderful guidance system inside of you. It's not my painting. Trust it. You've got wonderful instincts. Just trust it." And that was really the drive of my class. that these kids learned to trust their instincts and find out who they were. And then they would say, oh, we would start talking. I had office hours, and I'd have office hours when the kids would come in. Someone scratched it out and they wrote Pat Chats. because they knew what was going to happen when they would come in. And, it was like, it was such an honor to be around all that raw talent. And I was a tour guide on that journey for them. And I love them for it. I love them for having the dream of wanting to paint or perform or make a difference in the world. How do you not love that?
Right?
And they were just so full of their badass self. I mean, they come in with attitude. I mean, the worst ones were my favorites. I just love them. Well, okay. So teaching was also part of my art making process. I love teaching art as much as I love making art. And so that went hand, when people say, I have to teach, I hate it, I want to be in my studio. I don't. I'd get lonesome. I want to be around that.
Yeah.
I
don't want to wish my experiences away, but my journey with art would have been so much different if I had a teacher like you. And I know I wouldn't be alone in saying that, because I've seen so many creative people who were given a thought about themselves that's not true.
Yes.
And then stopped creating.
Yes. And that's painful. They were hardwired with all of this expression and talent and this beautiful, unique way of seeing the world.
Yes.
And that's why I felt I'm a guerrilla teacher, like guerrilla warfare. I'm in there making sure that these kids think independently and that they fiercely trust their instincts.
That's fantastic.
I never had that. I did not have one teacher that ever believed in me, and they were damaging. And here's the alchemy again. I spent the first part of my life being bitter and rageful. And then when I was getting my license to teach and I was in the classroom, I almost broke down in tears. It came to me. And I thought, thank you. That's why all of that horrendous education made me the teacher that I was. It was a gift, AJ. I didn't know that in the first part of my life. I was a bitter table for one. And then when I saw that, I thought, what a magnificent gift I have been given. And you know what? I would go through that first part of my life again if I could have the kind of results and connection that I've had as an educator. I'd do it at a heartbeat. I'd do it 10 times. If I could have that moment with a student saying, no, don't quit now. You're right there. You've got everything you need. Trust it.
I imagine you changed a lot of people's lives being a teacher.
I'm still in contact with kids from 1984 when I taught at the college. I mean, they're my babies. I love them. And now they're architects, they're designers, homemakers, whatever they're doing in life, they are very creative people. And I love them for it. And they know it. I love them,
so good. Yeah. No, I can feel it. I can feel your excitement and love for them. Your energy is so contagious. When I said I'm like permagrin this whole time, it's because you're such a happy soul and you're so passionate about what you're doing, and it shows and you can feel it. And I just think that's just fantastic.
Thank you.
I imagine the world would be such a different place if we all were, we all have our gifts and talents, but if we were all encouraged and supported in the way that you supported your teachers or your students.
Yep.
I just think it's just beautiful. And when people go into teaching with that passion, they literally do change lives and others' human experiences.
I've seen so many wonderful teachers. Oh my God, I love them. They are just magnificent souls.
Yeah. I think back about all the teachers that, made a difference in my life. And there's about 3 or 4 of them, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot in the big scheme of things, especially because I did not like school. And I did not. It was so hard for me.
Yep.
but I loved the teachers who recognized that challenge and helped me through that or inspired me in some way or another. I'm so grateful for them.
Yeah.
What a job. It's such a big responsibility.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Do you ever start a creative process and you're inspired to create art with a medium that you haven't used before, so you have to learn how to use it?
My whole career.
Right, but to
Yeah.
the point where you're like, "This is just too challenging for me," and
No.
and you decide that it's just not gonna happen?
Okay, so here's the deal. It's like, okay, I'm going to share this with you. When I was growing up, my grandmother, Rafaela, 4'11", bluest eyes, was one of the most joyful people I have ever known. Every Saturday morning, we would watch big time wrestling with Leaping Larry Shane and Dick the Brute. And she'd be on the edge of the couch and I was like 4 or 5 and she'd go, okay, fa brute. I go, no, Grandma, it's okay. Leaping Larry will be fine. Don't worry. It's okay. And so, it was this knockdown battle, the guy in the white trunks and the other guy who's just in the black trunks. He's just always Dick the Brute. I mean, do you need to say any more? And he'd pick up the chair and hit him and she'd go, oh, Madonna. And I go, no, it's okay, Grandma. No, don't worry. Okay. So you do that for a while, okay, with your grandmother. Now I'm going to come back to your question. When I get an idea and I put away all the paints and I ordered the glass panels, I always have the accompanying, what the hell are you going to do with those? And then, I used glass paints. I tried scoring. Everything was dead ending. And that's where you really have to fortify yourself. I just kept dead ending. And then I saw 2 pieces of glass overlaid on each other one day. And I thought, oh my God, I'm not painting on the glass. I'm using the, you have to be engaged for the medium to tell you what it needs. Yeah. Okay. And so, after I did that and I built the windows, I started doing these labyrinths and I started looking at ancient cities. So I started making paintings of cities, the layouts of the cities. And from there, now I'm from Detroit, the big 3. I grew up during the layoffs and I really left Detroit because I couldn't take it. It was just such a horrible time to be. It was really painful. So I thought, I was raised around manufacturing, the auto industry. So I moved to Minnesota. I thought, well, that's done. I'm done with that because you can just do that. You can just leave something behind. Oh, yeah, right. 1-800. It ain't going to happen. Okay. So I started doing these industrial sites, looking at demolished buildings. And I thought, oh my God, they're beautiful. And so I saw the geometry of these steel yards and these ore yards. I thought, oh my God. So then I thought, well, I can't paint on a canvas. That's boring. I can't do sheet metal. Yeah. Because auto designers, when the industry was new and young, they would say, we're going to change the sheet metal. And that was code for they were going to change the exterior of the car, not the interior. So again, I call the steel yard and I have delivered sheet metal. And it's here. It's in my studio. It's greasy. It's dirty. It's heavy. And I'm thinking, now what did you do? Now what? I always had that conversation. Now what did you do? Okay. So
here we go.
So I started studying these photographs from like 1900s, at the peak of these steel yards. And I started making paintings about them. Oh my God, they were beautiful. Those photographs. And what I realized, my work was about place as memory. And that these steel yards, there was a time you could drive anywhere and you'd see something off the highway. You know what I mean? Because again, when I'm working on something, these thoughts come to me. So as I was building these paintings, now what I do, I'd lay it out, and I started using wood and built off the sheet metal. So they're not flat paintings. They actually are built and they go off the sheet metal of these factories.
Oh, how cool.
And here's the phrase that came to me. Now, here's again, channeling. What is absent is not forgotten. What is absent is not forgotten. It just played in my head over and over. And when I heard that phrase, I saw those steel yards. I can almost hear the conversation of those men, mostly men, that went to work in those yards and did hellish jobs. I'm not romanticizing anything. Those jobs were dangerous, hellish. And if you were a person of color or an immigrant, and I know this from my own family, they put you in the dirtier jobs, the most dangerous jobs. You know, my grandfather lost his arm working on the Welland Canal. I mean, these guys, these immigrants, when they came over, it was tough. So all of a sudden I felt this reverence and awe as each one of those sheet metal paintings, when you look at them, it's an homage to these people that did this, and they created a middle class in this country. And because of that, kids could go to college or have a chance to do anything they wanted to do. But it was something that had to be honored. That's the way I felt about it. It was important to me. So when you say, Pat, what's your process? I just follow the idea.
Yeah.
I follow the idea. So if that means I have me making steel yards, I'll be making steel yards. You know,
It's just really neat. You're such a unique artist. I mean, there are several kinds of artists in the world, and several of the same type of artists in the world, but you're truly unique, not just in the content of your character, but your creative process, your passion for what you do. It really does exude through you, and I just think it's just beautiful and fantastic, and I just love it.
well,
It's
thank
so
you.
good. It's so good. I know I don't normally go back and listen to my shows, but I'm definitely going to go back. There's so many things that you've said that I know I need to write down because they're so inspiring and poetic.
Thank you.
I was looking at your website. Speaking of Pat Chats, you have a YouTube
Yes.
Pat Chats.
Yes, I do. And one of them's called The Magnificent Mistakes. And the beauty and the wonder of as artists, we make mistakes. There's no perfectionism. You know, forget that perfection. That is paralysis. And one of the biggest things I had to fight with kids when they'd say, "Well, I want to be perfect. I want this to be perfect," and it was really hard. My academic students were the worst. They would say, "Well, now how do you want me to do this? What's the formula?" "No, it doesn't work that way." "Well, now how should it be done?" "No, what do you want to do?" "Well, I said, it's not a periodic table. You have to dig deep and see who you are. And it's okay. There's a lot there waiting for you. So you don't have to look at a formula." So it's about, this thing that mistakes are how we make art. Oh my God. All the things, the chemicals I put together. I did paintings out of rust and, because I wanted to see it work. Well, sometimes it didn't work, So again, if we take the ego out of it, and as a younger artist, I would get mad and go, "Oh, it didn't work. What's wrong with me?" No.
Yeah.
Now I know, oh my gosh, maybe I'll try this instead. Or maybe it's not meant to be, but I got to try it.
Right.
I mean, those mistakes are just gorgeous. Oh my God.
It's just like Bob Ross would say, happy little accidents.
Yeah. Yes.
It's all just through the creation process and not making it a certain way in your head, like allowing those inspirations to flow through you.
Yeah.
So you're not stuck in that box that I was referring to.
Yeah, that box is kiss of death. It really,
Absolutely.
it's soul crushing.
I've hung out in it quite a bit.
Well, me too. Me too. I'm speaking from someone who has a ringside view in the box.
Yeah.
That I can tell you that, and part of it maybe because I'm getting older and I'm older, that each decade gives me more insight into these gifts. What I think are like, oh, why did this happen? I think, oh, that was a gift. Okay, I can do that.
I went to a craft art festival just over this past weekend, and there were so many different types of artists, and sometimes you see the same things, and sometimes you see like, wow, that's something I've never seen before. That's really unique. And now I forgot where I was going with that. But the fact of the matter is, there's just so many different beliefs and so many different ways that art is created.
Yes.
The thing is just create the art. And
Yeah.
I noticed that with the older artists, they stood in their confidence in their abilities of what they were doing versus some of these younger artists where I'd ask questions because that's what I do. Like, what's your process and why do you create this? And what does this mean to you? And how does this feel for you? And a lot of them just said, well, I just do it for fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't answer me. They weren't connected to their creation. But when you would meet with the older artists, they were passionate and they believed in what they were doing because they had gone through all of those experiences that you were talking about. And I really feel like as you do get older, that you have a deeper sense of knowing who you are, of course, but you're more connected to your abilities because you learn to trust that.
Yes.
And go with that process, like go with the flow and believe in what you're doing. And when you're alive and you're creating this art, it's appreciated. But as you get older and your time here ends, it's like all of a sudden you're famous and your art is notated in a different way than it was when you were alive. And I'm not sure why that happens. Like, that's where I was going. My mind is all over the place when I said I have ADHD.
I love it. I'm right at home.
Let's bring it back.
Okay, park the car, come back.
Art sells when the artist is no longer with us in this human experience. And it just blows my mind because when they're here, that's when you know and have that connection. It's not just amazing art after they passed. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, it does. But there's also the ramifications of the commodification of art. And so that has had a huge influence as to what will be noted as fame and what will not.
Right. Absolutely.
And I gave a talk at a arts high school a couple months ago, and I was saying to the students, I said, in some ways, COVID is a dark horse blessing. Now, let me explain this, and not for the people who are suffering through it. I'm not making light of it. Right. But what's happened is because of COVID and everything going online and, museums, galleries, theaters, everything shut down. Well, you know what happened? The gatekeepers lost their hold. It dissolved the gatekeeper. So I said to young artists, I said, you know what? That older model of waiting for the phone call for the curator to come over, I said, that's an old paradigm. You can create your own exhibition with a website. Absolutely. You can invite people through digital in a way that I never had the first part of my life. You know what I mean? And so you kids have this whole world out there. Show your work. Show it. Have it on, if you want to, Facebook or Instagram. A lot of artists do that. Just show who you are. There's world
for everyone.
And the world needs it.
Yes.
We need it. We need it. And in that same talk, I told these kids, you're artists. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you have any idea of the magnitude of the power you're capable of? So we cannot be crushed by what's going on in the world. Not that it doesn't break our heart. It does. But we cannot afford to be crushed. Not now. And you're here at this moment in time for a reason.
Preach, girl, preach.
Well, I see.
Seriously, like,
but it's
for real. Yes,
we cannot afford to be crushed. And there are some days I've actually wept when I look at the news and the cruelty, and I think, I'll be damned. No, I am not going gentle into anything. I'm a political entity. Just by being an artist is an act of defiance. Being a writer is an act of magnificent defiance. Doing something that means something to you. And whatever that is, it doesn't even have to be in the arts. If you're out there and you're doing something that is meaningful to you, maybe you like taking pictures of wildlife. Oh my God. That energy shoots into the universe. Yes. And it's a blessing for all of us.
Absolutely.
So, but it's so hard because these times are so difficult. But you know what? I asked my ancestors, there were some days when it was so bad with the beginning of COVID. I remember asking them, saying, you guys lived through wars, invasions, rape, pillage, oh my God, plagues. You did it. You came through it. Can you fortify my spirit? Because I don't know if I can do this. This is a hard world. What do you know that I need to know? Can you help me here? That's where I go to them. It's not channeling. I talk to them. God, I'm always talking to my head. I'm going to be one of those people that in my 90s, and I'm talking to them, walking down the street, and they go, oh, they're crazy. I don't think those people are crazy. I think they're in conversation.
Absolutely.
And so
I agree.
Wherever we can find that need to connect, for me, it's my answer. I ask them all the time, how did you do this? How did you know? How did you keep your heart? How did you do that?
Do you feel like through the pandemic, more people have connected to their gifts and abilities?
I think odd things came out of this. Not that we're done with it, but I think people were forced to be at home, to be with their kids, to find ways of making their days meaningful. Mm-hmm. I think it really forced a lot of people to be reflective. And it also forced a lot of people who are fearful or afraid to start trending in theories, drinking bleach to get better. All these crazy things that were going on spoke to the people that were afraid or fearful or wanted that kind of community. I think it really magnified connection. So, for example, there's like almost 3 million podcasts worldwide, 66 million episodes between them. And it dawned on me one day, what the hell is a podcast? It's a recorded conversation. People are hungry for conversation.
Absolutely.
And I thought this accelerated because of COVID. People are listening. They have this need to connect to these ideas. And so we're just doing recorded conversation. And people are jumping on saying, whoa, yeah, we hunger for community. I think we do.
Well, right. It's part of our human nature.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Absolutely. So speaking of podcasts, before we run out of time, you do have a podcast.
Okay. All right.
Tell us all about it, because it's a podcast for people too stubborn to quit and too creative not to make a difference.
Yes. Now, you asked me about my process. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I get this hit. You need to be podcasting right now. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. What the hell do I know about? Okay. That conversation. Oh my God. And I thought, you need to be podcasting. I thought, I don't want a podcast. Just, you need to, it goes back and forth like that. And then I thought, all right, I'm going to do this. And then I will use any material when I follow an idea, whether it's steel, glass, paint, drawing, I will follow the idea. I retired from teaching art, and I felt adrift. I miss it. So I love being around kids. And I thought, well, maybe that podcasting would be a different way to connect. And then it dawned on me, my podcasts are people telling stories, and they're incredible stories and against the odds. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my God, I was doing portraits of people before, painting them. All I'm doing is portraiture. I'm just doing portraits. Instead of painting with paints, I'm painting with words. That's all I'm doing with my podcast. That's all it is. So when people come on my show, I want them to shine. I want them to tell their stories. What odds were they against? One of the early ones, a woman survived a plane crash. She wakes up in the ER and she hears this voice. This is not your old life ending. This is the beginning of a new rich life. And she's paraplegic. And I want to know about people like that. So I look for people who have stories that, by all odds, they should be crushed by what's going on. And they're not. I love those people. I love them. So, yeah, my podcasts have just people doing different things, writers. Oh, my God. One woman, middle age, she lives in India. She didn't like her job. She always wanted to do woodworking. So she left her job, started woodworking. And now she's one of the premier woodworkers. She designs these lamps, and they're beautiful. And her journey to do that, she's all self-taught. Who are these people, AJ? Where the hell do they come from? And so there's so many people out there that are doing things that don't get recognized, these acts of everyday sacred that they go to work, or they're online going to work. They pay bills, they do their lives, and there's something so spectacular about that. That is the holy of every day. And these podcasts are things that people pick up in the air. They reinforce that. Yeah. So I'm just painting with words now, okay? Instead of paints and steel.
Yeah. I mean, it's all art, right? It's all a creative process.
It is. And if I could, a lot of times people say, well, what is art? What is art? And I found my answer. It was in Martin Heidegger when he wrote, "What is a thing?" And he said, you know what a thing is by the way it gathers the world unto itself. Whoa, there it was. I thought, art? Oh my God, art is a point of proximity that dissolves the distinction between our here and there as it pulls us towards itself and each other. That's what it is. It's a thing that pulls us towards it. It breaks down my here and your there. And that's why you can go somewhere and see a piece that was made maybe 500 years ago, and you look at it and it looks like it was something that's speaking directly to your heart. Who cares? Nations, borders, gender, culture, it doesn't matter. It's soul to soul connection. Okay, I gotta calm down here. Whew, I get going. This is the way my classes were too, okay? All right.
I wish I were closer. I would totally take classes with you. Oh my gosh, that actually put a lump in my throat just because I can't tell you how many times I've stood in front of a piece of art that moved me to tears.
Oh.
And that same feeling, the soul to soul connection.
Oh, yes.
It's like nothing else you ever experience. It's ineffable. It really is.
Sometimes the kids will say to me, like, well, art, like, what is? I say, okay, you fall in love. Do you need a curator to tap you on the shoulder and say, well, you're looking at that person because they love to, have good conversation. They have a big heart. You don't need that. You know in your soul when you see and connect, you know what's there. You don't need someone telling you. You don't need a tour guide. There's something so intimate and poignant in that heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul connection.
100%. 100%. And I love that you have shared that with us. And your passion, it's contagious. You're so completely inspirational, Pat.
Well, thank you. Now, this means I hope to hear from you, like an email or something saying, hey, I kind of am making these pieces and I'm doing this.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I hope you do.
I have put the art away for quite a moment, but I'm listening. I know I'm being guided to create again, and this time that we have spent together has only added fuel to that fire. I literally am so inspired by you. I look up to you. You are inspirational beyond words, and I can honestly wholeheartedly say this is one of my favorite times with a guest. You just are that amazing to me and special to me. So thank you for showing up, being vulnerable and authentic and totally being yourself tonight. You're just incredible. And I know all of our listeners are agreeing. The chat room has been blowing up with how great they think you are. So keep up the amazing work. The world needs you. You are important, and what you're doing matters. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to get to know you better. And I really do hope for future connections with you.
I do too. Thank you for your big heart and your generosity of spirit. And thank you for folks listening and being a part of this with your energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And before we go, let's make sure everyone knows how to find you. Go ahead and share with us.
It's patbenincasa-art.com.
Perfect. And everything you guys want to know about her is on there. It will guide you to her YouTube channel. It will guide you to her podcast. I'm going to definitely be listening on my way home, get to start that stream of listening because I just don't want to get enough of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to all of you who have hung out with us tonight, awesome, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time here. I hope that you felt that soul connection with Pat that I have and that you're inspired to go out and create your best life as well. I am definitely feeling the feels and I'm so grateful. Like I say every week, you guys be good to yourself and be good to each other. And we'll catch you guys all next Wednesday. Good night.
Bye.